Okay, I'm going to show you guys how I did the post-processing. So first thing you want to do is go to Window, and you want to go to Package Manager here. And we're going to give that a second to load. And we're going to go ahead to post-processing down here. And we're going to hit Install. Give it a few seconds to install. It normally takes like about a couple of seconds here. Alright, go ahead and close that. Next thing we want to do is create a post-processing volume. So go to Game Object. And we want to create an empty. And we're going to go ahead and name that post-processing. After you've done that, we're going to go ahead and add component. And we're going to add post-processing volume. Set it to is global. Then after that, we're going to create a post-processing profile. So go to Create and go to Post-Processing Profile. And we're going to go ahead and name that Synthwave. Alright, now we have our post-processing profile. Next we want to do is set up our camera to render this. So we're going to go to our main camera, add component, add post-processing layer. After that, we're going to add a layer. So scroll, go to the top, go to where it says default in the layers, add layer, and then you want to go ahead and add the layer Synthwave. So you just type that in. Go back to your camera, and then change that layer to the Synthwave layer. Alright, next thing we want to do is change our layer on our volume to Synthwave. Then we want to add our post-processing profile to the profile here, as you can see here, and then you can start adding effects. As you can see here, you have a number of effects. We're going to go ahead and start with the Ambient Occlusion effect here. You also have Bloom. Feel free to play around with these settings to make something, to your liking here. As you can see here, you have a lot of leeway with the options you have here, and there's a lot more to choose from. One of the favorites for Synthwave is the Chromatic Aberration here. It gives it that nice, like 80s style type of effect look to it. You can also play around with the color grading as well. And we're going to kind of play around with it to give it that more Synthwave type look here. So I'm going to play around with some of the settings here. Give it a little bit more contrast here. Again, play around with the settings to your liking. You can even play around with the depth of field here. So we're just going to kind of play around with that to see how that looks in our scene here. As you can see, you can get a nice depth of field here with the tools. Also mess around with the add some grain to the scene, give it a nice little like old school look to it. A lot of devs use the grain for horror games, but in our case, it'll give us a nice like old school 80s look that we're looking for here. So definitely play around with the post-processing settings. They'll really make your game stand out and pop out. And thanks for joining the tutorial.